He represented Langley in many tournaments and games, including 3 bronze medals at the provincials. He represented his province with Coach Beasley at the National Box Lacrosse Championships, winning a bronze medal in a final electrifying game against Team Alberta. Chris's physical strength and desire were on display for the country to see, but more than anything, he loved being part of a team. He loved to win. He loved to work hard. He was the consummate leader and team player. Perhaps the pinnacle of Chris's lacrosse career came in September 2009, where he represented Team BC at the National Field Lacrosse Tournament in Winnipeg. He was named as a defensive all-star at the tournament, which was a Herculean feat that he was very proud of, not only for personal achievement, but how that reflected on his team. In addition to the Langley connection, we owe a great debt of gratitude to Brent Hoskins, Jeff Cathray, Joyce Simons, and the SFU Burnaby Mountain Selects program. That program elevated Chris's skills, but more importantly, it elevated him as a young man. Spending Friday nights at study halls before or after practice built character and discipline. Trips for the BMS program took Chris to Florida, Baltimore, New York, Seattle, North Carolina, and Colorado. He would come back talking about lacrosse, but he would be equally excited about visiting the universities. He loved the U.S. university campuses. He saw the passion exhibited by the size of the stadiums and the college spirit. This fueled him to work harder as a student and a lacrosse player. He had been approached by several universities and was considering options, as well as studying and playing at SFU. His fitness level was legendary. 100 push-ups was child's play. 200 was his usual daily number. There was a hilarious post on the Facebook tribute page talking about Chris in the library working on homework with the right hand and lifting weights with the left hand. That was Chris. If he wasn't with friends or playing lacrosse, he was at the gym. He loved his family. He loved lacrosse and all his lacrosse buds. Blaine Boomer stayed with our family last fall on the weekends, and he and Chris became instant brothers. It was hard not to love Chris. His personality was magnetic. You wanted to be with him.
Parker, you're hot. What's up, Brian?
Take it in, Brian.
Brian, go short.
The passion that he showed also had a side that we as parents worked on with Chris. He was his own worst critic. When he didn't get his L, that's his driving license learner's permit, the first time round, he was very upset and used his punching bag that he used for fitness training until he bruised his knuckles. We would encourage him to take a step back, relax, and refocus. As for the driving, when he took his N on March 1, 2010, he passed with flying colors, only achieving 0.5 of a demerit. And of course, he was upset that he had not got a perfect driving exam. The week of March 22 was a good one. We celebrated Ingrid's birthday with a family dinner at Olive Garden. I laughed as Ingrid and I sat across from our big sons in a booth that suddenly seemed so small with their presence. We had a great time, and Chris presented Ingrid with a gift card for the movies and a mom-son date night planned for Saturday. The card he made was hilarious and totally Chris. He stated, "We love you and appreciate everything that you do for us. We do notice all the time and effort you put towards us. We couldn't ask for anyone better. You are a unique woman, a tough girl. You are spicy. You make the funniest jokes when you don't mean to. And for that, we thank you, and for putting up with all of our guy antics. We couldn't manage without you, really. Like, who would we get to do laundry or tell me to clean? It wouldn't get done. We love you. One more thing. This card is way better than any card that you have ever made." He was joking with his mom because she, of course, is the expert in terms of scrapbooking. This was tongue-in-cheek. It was funny. It was happy. It was respectful. It was loving. On March 24th, Chris and I had an early adventure, leaving at 5:30 a.m. to get to UBC Hospital for an MRI. This was an appointment we had waited for 2 months to get to determine the status of Chris's knee he was rehabbing after a lacrosse injury. He was in good spirits, knowing that with the MRI wait over, only a few weeks were probably remaining in his rehab. We were all anticipating the phone consult with the UBC specialist, which was to have occurred on March 29. On Thursday, March 25, he left Brookswood after the conversation with his brother referenced at the beginning of this story. It was raining heavily, and it appears from police and eyewitness reports that he lost control of his vehicle, hitting a curb and then hitting a fence. The car was still operational, and he didn't stop. For those of us who are adults, it may seem obvious to stop the car, assess the damage, and then move forward with the claim process. For a 17-year-old, this incident in front of friends and on school property would have been devastating to Chris. We know our son. He would be his own worst critic. Upon arriving home, it would appear he made an emotional decision, and as would have been consistent with his personality, remember the driving test, he would punish himself. The heart-wrenching tragedy is that the decision Chris made was not able to be reversed. He was cared for in the forever loving arms of his mother and father until the paramedics arrived. Chris was not planning to take his life. There is simply no evidence for that. It appears he made a split-second decision that he could not change. We tell you this information to provide closure, but also to refocus, not on what happened because of a fateful emotional decision, but rather on what the positive side of Chris's passion produced. Not only was he a winner, but he inspired others, loved others, and made this world a better place. We encourage all young people that any problem, however big it seems, is not too big to be resolved. All problems have solutions. If you can't talk to your parents, talk to a friend, relative, neighbor, teacher, counselor, your guardian angel, or God. Someone is always there, 24/7. Aside from the last hours, Chris, we would never ever change 1 second of anything ever in your amazing life. We are better people for having you with us. It was a privilege to be your dad and mom and brother. I'm sure those here will agree it was a privilege to have you as a teammate, student, friend, employee, cousin, nephew, grandson, etc., etc. You taught our family about discipline and passion, using fitness as the example. We believed you learned from us well, and through your memory, your story will continue to change lives. Your eyes, your corneas, are being prepared to bring a young person new sight this week. It's so exciting. We know that your spirit will provide new sight to many of us on our journey through the next days, weeks, and months ahead. Chris, we love you.